What's up, YouTube? Today we are talking about adrenal fatigue, and if adrenal fatigue is the reason why you're struggling to lose weight, why you might be having cravings, sweet cravings, salty cravings, maybe you're really fatigued and tired and just having trouble getting up in the morning, and all this bad funky stuff. If you've ever heard of adrenal fatigue, you know it's just like really fatigued, hungry, not losing weight, not fun stuff. So we're going to talk about that. Now, it is day 12 of my 30-day challenge, and all the questions are coming in through Twitter. So if you have a question, shoot them to me at Syatt Fitness on Twitter. I'll answer as many as I can in these 30 days. But I was just in my Instagram DM talking to a very, very kind, sweet woman who told me she had just been diagnosed by saliva test, saying that she had adrenal fatigue and she wasn't sure what to do. She was really tired, really fatigued. She was not losing weight, really hungry, and nothing was working, no matter how hard she tried. And she was like, what can I do? Now, I'm going to preface all this by saying some people watching this are going to get very upset, and that's okay. It's okay to disagree with what I say. A couple things I'm going to offer, I hope you'll take me up on this offer. If you get upset by what I'm saying, because you might disagree, watch the whole video. Don't stop the video and comment. Watch the whole thing, because by the end of it, you're going to have a much better picture of what I'm saying, and you're going to realize I'm not selling anything. No supplements, no nothing. I'm not trying to make any money here. I'm solely trying to give the best information to help you succeed. That's it. That's it. And a lot of times people get upset because they're emotionally attached to what they've already been told, and a new idea that goes against what they've been told and invested so much time and money in already can be feel like an attack against yourself. It's not. This is solely based on scientific research with the sole intention of helping people, I promise. So she told me that she had been, I'm going to try and figure out how I can screen record the Instagram conversation and post it in the comment section, to a link so you can see it. I just need to figure out how to block her name out. The reason is I want you to see the conversation so you know it's actually real. But for now, I'll just walk you through what happened. Basically, hey, I've been diagnosed by saliva test with adrenal fatigue. What do I do? Now, my first response was, hey, just to clarify, when you say you were diagnosed by saliva test, it wasn't by a real MD. It wasn't a medical doctor, was it? It must have been an alternative health. It must have been a naturopath. And she's like, no, it was a real doctor. I was like, I don't think that's the case. Maybe I'm mistaken, but the reason I say that is because the Endocrine Society, so your adrenal glands are endocrine glands, and they produce a lot of hormones, powerful hormones that massively affect your body and your mind and your everything. And the Endocrine Society, literally the Endocrine Society of the world, medical doctors do not recognize adrenal fatigue as a real disease. I'm going to pause right there and say they absolutely recognize the symptoms as real and needed to be treated. They're very serious. Fatigue, not losing weight, cravings, all this, very real symptoms. People are struggling with them, and they are awful, and there are ways to treat them. The name adrenal fatigue, the disease adrenal fatigue, is made up. And as medical doctors and the Endocrine Society currently stands, doesn't exist. There's no research to support adrenal fatigue. And that's how I knew that it wasn't a legitimate medical doctor. It was an alternative health medicine practitioner. And she came back. She's like, oh, wait, you know what? You're right. It was a naturopath. It was a naturopath. I was like, okay. And I was like, well, did they make you, or I was trying to think of the way I phrased this. I did this very purposefully. I said specifically, which supplements did they make you buy? Or which supplements did they tell you to get? And I said that because if I had just said, did they make you buy any supplements? It sounds a little bit combative, and I didn't want to come across combative. I wanted to just assume that they had her buy supplements, because that is very often the case. I said, so which supplements did they have you buy? And she's like, well, I got this one, this one, this one. So 2 or 3. And I was like, and did they tell you to go get those at a local pharmacy, online, buy from their own store? And she's like, I bought them from their own store. And you might see where I'm going with this. The whole idea of adrenal fatigue as a disease, again, not the symptoms. The symptoms are real. But the idea that you can take a saliva test and test for adrenal fatigue is not supported in the literature. It doesn't exist. That is not real. I know I'm going to get slammed by naturopaths right now. But a couple things. Number one, naturopaths have a lot at stake when people come out with this type of information because their income is largely based on this. Massive portion of income is coming from these supplements. Huge bias when a major portion of your income is based on the selling of these supplements. So when someone comes out and is saying, listen, it doesn't really exist, you can't test for adrenal fatigue because it doesn't exist with saliva, they're going to get really upset. And I respect that because, like, you don't want your business to suffer. My counter response would be like, I'd rather make less money doing the right thing and spreading the truth than make more money selling supplements that don't work out of a disease that isn't actually even recognized as real disease in scientific literature. It's the reason why we have MDs, like medical doctors, and then if you're not a medical doctor, you can't say that you are. That's why, like, think about this. A medical doctor isn't going to make money off of a supplement. They don't sell you a supplement. Like, they give you a prescription to go get it. The naturopaths are saying, okay, well, you have adrenal fatigue, so buy these supplements at our store, and then we're going to do that. It's a big issue, really big issue. But we went on, and I was like, okay, listen, here's the deal. They had you buy these supplements, and I sent her a bunch of articles from scientific articles, like from scientific journals, and I can post them in the description of this video so you can see for yourself if you'd like. The Endocrine Society, medical doctors do not recognize adrenal fatigue as an actual disease. It's a fake disease. And it was, I think his name, I'm going to read, it was, by a chiropractor and naturopath named James Wilson. And he coined the term, it was in 1998, he coined the term, and he came up with a list of symptoms. I'm going to read you these symptoms, and I want you to listen objectively to these symptoms. Just like what are some of the common symptoms of adrenal fatigue are, according to James Wilson, who coined the term. Tiredness and not usually, so basically he did it in a question format. He's like, are you tired and not usually relieved by sleep? Are you having trouble getting up in the morning? Do you get low energy, moody, or foggy if you don't eat regularly? These are directly from his text. Do you feel worse if you miss a meal? Do you need salty or sweet snacks or caffeine to keep going? Do you eat lots of fruit? Are you feeling run down and stressed? Are you struggling to keep up with life's daily demands? It just goes on and on and on. These are very common things among everybody. You ask a middle schooler, are you having trouble getting up in the morning? Yeah, I'm tired. You ask a 50-year-old, are you having trouble getting up in the morning? Yeah, I'm tired. Are you craving sweets? Yeah, I've been craving sweets since I was fucking born. These are, in the same way, like a hypnotherapist, not a hypnotherapist, but like a psychic will like ask very general questions that seem to be directed at you. They're saying things in a way that to get you nodding your head. Yeah, I do get tired. Yeah, I do crave sweets. Yeah, I do eat lots of fruit. Like, yeah, okay. That's explaining pretty much everybody at some point. It's normal. It's like unbelievably normal and common for this to happen. So the issue is he created this idea that there was adrenal fatigue, and it's not actually supported in the literature. So I sent her this article. She was like, oh my God, like, this makes so much sense. So I said, listen, there's good news, though. Number one, you don't have adrenal fatigue because it doesn't exist. She laughed. She was like, okay, so what is it? I was like, well, how long? The way I phrased this was, I said, how long, or when was the last time? I said, when was the last time? I need to make sure I can screen record this conversation so you can see for yourself. I said, when was the last time that you meticulously tracked your calories for 30 days straight? No bullshit. Like you followed it 100% for 30 days straight and hit your calories. And she was like, I'm doing Weight Watchers right now. So I'm not tracking my calories. And I'm not losing any, and she said, I'm not seeing any progress. I was like, okay, so how long have you been in Weight Watchers for? She goes, a month. And if you know my content, you automatically know, like, a month is nothing. So first coming in the conversation, no matter what I do, no matter how hard I work, it's just nothing happening. A month later. And I was like, okay, so a month. And how consistently on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being absolutely never, like, terrible, and 10 being 100% perfect with your guidelines, how well have you been hitting your Weight Watchers guidelines, including the weekends? And she was like, honestly, like, I've cheated. Which, like, huge respect for her to be objective enough to say, yeah, like, I've cheated. Most people wouldn't. Most people would be like, no, I've been perfect no matter what, even if they haven't. So huge respect for her to be like, yeah, listen, I haven't been really as consistent with these. So I said, well, listen, you have great news. You definitely don't have adrenal fatigue. Doesn't exist. Your symptoms do exist. I believe you're tired. I believe you're hungry. You're craving stuff. I believe you're not losing weight. You have a case of the impatience and inconsistencies where it's only been 30 days and you haven't been consistent with your guidelines and you're pissed off that you're not making progress. Go fucking figure. And she like did the laughy emojis. She's like, oh my God, I know. And then she goes, I fucking hate this though. And I said, no, you don't hate this though. You haven't done this though. You haven't earned the right to hate it because you actually haven't even done it. You can't hate a program that you've never actually done. Is Weight Watchers perfect? No. Does Weight Watchers work very well? Yeah, it does. Absolutely. I think Weight Watchers is fantastic. Is it for everybody? No, absolutely not. Does it do a great job of understanding the importance and role of energy and calorie intake? And are there flaws in their system? Yeah, a little bit. But for the majority of the population, when we have like over 50% of people are like obese, it's great. For someone, maybe if they're trying to get to 6% body fat and shredded, yeah, Weight Watchers might not be the best fit. For someone who's trying to get to 15%, 20% body fat, 25% even, just to go from morbidly obese to a healthy range, it's fantastic. So that was a little side rant there. But so then we went on and we spoke a little bit, and she was like, so what do I need to do? I was like, what you need to do is you need to track your calories, make sure you're hitting your calories, and do it consistently for 30 days. I was like, I guarantee you, if you do no bullshit for 30 days, you actually do it, you're going to see progress. Like, that's it. And she laughed. She was like, she was thankful. I really need to figure out how I can screen record this conversation. I just don't want to put her handle in it. But she was thankful. She's like, thank you. Like, no bullshit. You gave me what I needed to hear. And I guess through the ending of this, the culmination of this video, what I really want to get across is if you are tired, if you are fatigued, if you are craving sweets, if you are having trouble getting out of the bed, those are real symptoms. They are very real and they need to be treated. They need to be addressed. Go to a real doctor, a medical doctor, not a naturopath. And listen, by the way, I have friends who are naturopaths. I have friends who are alternative health medical professionals. And they're great friends. And a lot of them they do great things. But if someone is telling you that you have adrenal fatigue and is telling you the only way to fix it is through buying these supplements, that is a fucking lie and they're trying to scam you. Straight up. And I hate saying that because I don't like calling other people out, but that's just the truth. Anybody who says, like, you need to get this supplement and get it from my store, no. No. Bullshit. I am waiting to get slammed on by some naturopaths in here. If any naturopaths are upset by this, or if anybody's upset by this, fuck the naturopath part. If you have been told that you have adrenal fatigue and you're upset right now because you're like, well, what the fuck? So I don't have adrenal fatigue? You should realize it's actually a good thing. It's great news. If adrenal fatigue was real and you needed to buy all these supplements, you need to spend more money and waste more money on all these supplements, it's actually not accurate. If you want to lose weight, odds are you're not being consistent, you're not being patient enough. It comes down to that almost every single time. And if you think you are, track your calories meticulously every single day for 30 days straight, be in a calorie deficit. If that doesn't work, go to a medical doctor, get your thyroid checked, get a metabolic cart test from a medical doctor. Work on that with them. And then you can decide what to do. If you have a thyroid issue, you can get medication for it. If you have a metabolic issue, the doctor can help with that. Going to an alternative health medicine practitioner for this type of advice is dangerous. And it's not dangerous from the perspective of like harmed by the supplements, I don't think. It's more dangerous mentally for someone to tell you that you can't make progress unless you take these supplements. That's bullshit. Of course you can. Those supplements don't do shit. The idea that adrenal fatigue is a real disease is it's funny. What they'll say is they'll be like, no, what happens is your adrenals, they get so overworked that they stop working anymore, and that's what adrenal fatigue is. That's actually not accurate. Your adrenals don't stop working when you. So they say when you're really stressed, they stop working. That's actually not what happens with your adrenals. If you look at what happens with the adrenals when you get really stressed, your adrenals overwork. They're overworking and creating more cortisol. And your cortisol will spike. And cortisol is the stress hormone. And that's when you can be extra fatigued. That's when you can be having a lot of trouble getting out of bed more than normal. That's when you can be craving more foods and extra hungry and stalling in weight loss. Keeping in mind, a cortisol stop in weight loss is weight loss, not fat loss. Where maybe their water retention is really high from high cortisol. If your scale isn't going down, doesn't necessarily mean you're not losing fat. It might just mean your cortisol is up, and you just keep doing what you're doing, stay consistent. Eventually, it'll whoosh away. Maybe not as fast as you want, but stop fucking caring what the scale says. Stop going by that as the only measure, right? So, sort of a rant here, and definitely about to get bashed by some naturopaths, but fuck that. I just want this to help. I just want this to help at least one person. And I'm so glad I had that conversation with that woman earlier because it sparked this. It's been something. I'll tell you, I'll be very honest with you. I was nervous to make this video. I haven't been nervous to make a video since like 2012, just because 2011, 2012 is when I first started. I was nervous to make this video because I'm nervous to piss people off. But fuck that. By the way, if research comes out that says, hey, adrenal fatigue is actually a disease, I'll be the first one to be like, my fault. I'll take it back. I'll take this video down, or I'll even leave it up, and I'll make a subsequent video being like, hey, see that video? I made a mistake. If research comes out and medical doctors and the Endocrinology Society says, hey, listen, we made a mistake, it actually is, great. I'll be behind it. But right now, medical doctors, Endocrine Society does not recognize it as a real disease. It recognizes the symptoms as real, and those need to be treated. But to say that you need special supplements and you're getting diagnosed with adrenal fatigue through a saliva test or whatever, you're being scammed. And don't let that. I don't want that to happen to anybody. So, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And I'm going to put a couple links in the description so you can have a look around as well, so you can see for yourself. And that's that. Love you. Have a good one.